Okay, what we've got right here is the spur line rail bed cut of the Birmingham Mineral Railroad, L&N's Birmingham Mineral Railroad Division. This is their spur line cut going into the Ruffner number 3 ore mine. And this branched off just behind me, L&N Birmingham Mineral Railroad's Gate City branch. So this spur line was built to go straight to the Ruffner number 3. It was a single track spur line, and you can see the rail bed cut right here. And this was built in the early 1900s to service the Ruffner number 3 ore mine. So we're just going to walk forward and head into the Ruffner number 3 ore mine site on the Birmingham Mineral Railroad spur line cut here. As you're this is looking to the northwest, as you're paralleling the spur line going into the number 3 mine site, you'll see a lot of foundation remains here to the buildings. This could have been a blacksmith shop, repair shop. There's no definitive layout of some of these foundation remains, what buildings they were, what purpose they served, but this could have been a blacksmith shop right here. And of course there's plenty of foundation remains further on up going into the mine site, and we'll just continue on walking the spur line into the Ruffner number 3 mine site. Okay, moving along the right side of the spur rail line, up ahead you've got a beautiful stone retaining wall there, and you've got some more foundation remains right here, and you've got stone wall foundation remains here, and this could have, I think this is where they had the boiler plant, because everything back then was steam driven for going into the early 1900s. A lot of the mining companies started switching over about 1915 or so from steam driven to electrical as electricity use expanded. But these were all steam driven right here, so you had to have coal and water to produce the steam to power the equipment. But you've got a nice retaining wall right here, and we'll go ahead and we're just a little bit to the right of the spur line, but we'll go ahead and move back on it and move on up to where the ore crusher is. Okay, this is the remains of the spur rail line coming off the Gate City branch. And up ahead, you have the ore crusher remains right here, foundation. And this was a single track spur line. And what they did is they pushed all the empty cars further way back into the ravine. And as, you know, each empty car was filled up, you know, a locomotive would come, pick up the loaded rail cars, and they would take them to either one of the two furnaces that Sloss operated, the North Birmingham North City blast furnace, or the City blast furnace along First Avenue. But you can see this is part of Ruffner's walking trail right here. So it's amazing. Block and tackle system, who knows how much it weighs. That's a Allison Chalmers, I think number 7 or number 8. I'd have to recheck. Ore crusher, they had to ship that down from their factory in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I just can't even imagine how that got up there, but a serious block and tackle to get that up there. And that's just the gutted remains of the ore crusher, because it actually was higher than that. They just stripped all the components from the inside of the top out. But the rail cars would line up here, and you had a chute right up there, and the crushed ore would go right into the waiting rail cars. So the rail bed terminates back here inside into the ravine. And back in the day, they had a huge wooden loading tipple bridge going across this ravine, because they were working open ore mining and drift mines on either side of this ravine along the fingers. So you just had a huge wooden trestle that spanned this ravine right here. So the slope mine is further up. They opened that up there, I think somewhere around 1910, 1912 maybe. And, you know, it stayed in operation until I believe about 1921, when they closed everything down here at this mine site. But anyway, a lot of ore was extracted from this mine. So, but anyway, the rail bed terminates back there. So we'll go up here, just take a look at the slope mine, which is gated off for bat preservation. But there's no pictures of what this mine looked like, so you're kind of using your imagination. But according to the rail maps and some other maps, you know, they had a huge wood bridge right here going across. In fact, you can actually see right here one of the foundations right here for it, right there. So all right, and we'll go ahead and head on up top towards the slope mine. Okay, this is just a quick look from up top here at the ore crusher, Allison Chalmers. So there was a huge wooden bridge that came from the slope mine way up top, and they ran the ore cars that were full, ran them out onto this flat loading tipple, or it could have been elevated to some degrees, and the contents of the mine car were dumped into the top of the ore crusher, and this was all steam driven, and the contents were crushed, and it was deposited into the waiting rail cars right here. So all right, we'll head up top here. Okay, this is looking down to the entrance to the Ruffner number 3 slope mine. See, it's gated off. There's really not anything to see, because it's the water level is pretty high down there, so it's not really too much to see. I may include some photographs and stuff. You got the retaining wall here. So back behind where the slope mine is, you had a water reservoir, and you had the cable hoist house. So the mine cars were lowered on cables and brought up. And up there, might not be able to see, but that's the cable hoist guy right there. And way back behind over there would be the sheave pillar. They had a big bull wheel that the cable wrapped around, brought the mine cars up and down out of the mine. And once they came up, switched off on another tracks right here, and they were sent down to the big loading bridge and taken out over the ore crusher. But going all the way up the mountain right here on either side, it's just all the mines are closed, but just drift mine remains after drift mine remains, open ore mining. So like I said, there were hundreds of people working up here at any given time for years on these mines. But anyway, that's just a quick little tour of the Ruffner number 3 mine site. But basically, it's the Birmingham Mineral Railroad serviced all these mines along Ruffner. So just trying to check out the main ones. Ruffner 3, Ruffner 1, Ruffner 4 and Ruffner 2. I'm not going to concern myself with any of the other smaller mining operations. So, all right. That'll kind of do it up here for the Ruffner number 3 mine site.